What's going on YouTube? It's Chris, that guy CD, back at you with another video. I've been gone for about a week. I was on a family vacation, but now I should be back to my normal schedule. So yeah, I rested and recuperated over the break, and I've kind of got a bit of a different topic for you guys today. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's going to be maybe a little bit more controversial. I'm talking about harassment and just general people being douchebags and jerks in the nerd and geek community. So as most of you know, I call myself a geek. I'm into geeky things, whether it be movies, TV, cartoons, anime, video games, comic books. I'm into all of that stuff. So as we know, the internet can be a very divisive place. And, I've been a member of the online nerd community for a long time. So I'm on Twitter, I go on different internet forums, Reddit, game FAQs, whatever, to kind of see what people are saying about different things I'm into. And, trolling and harassment, of individuals has been a problem online for a long time. But recently, even on YouTube, I'm seeing like this weird resurgence of people who just want to be assholes to each other and just want to be mean and they just want to spread hate. And I don't really want that in our community, in my community. I believe that the geek and nerd community should be an accepting, positive community where people talk about their interests and things they like and why. So, I'll give you a couple of examples. Recently in the new Spider-Man movie, a biracial woman has actually been cast for the role of Mary Jane. If you don't know who Mary Jane is, she's pretty much Spider-Man, Peter Parker, his love interest within all of media. And the reason it's causing a lot of controversy is because they cast Zendaya, who is a biracial. I believe she's half black and half white, but don't quote me on that. They cast her as Mary Jane, who's typically white. And the reaction to this was mostly positive. But whenever a change like this happens, and this happened many a times, flash on the screen, some people get really, really upset when people of color try to take over non-white roles. And they're like, oh my god, you're ruining the story, and this sucks, this is just PC, social justice, liberal garbage. This happens constantly and all the time. And my thing is, taking race and whatever just out of the equation, I like good stories. If they choose a good actress to portray a character and the movie is good, to me it shouldn't matter what the skin color of the actor or actress is, in most cases. In addition, you have to understand that within a lot of mainstream movies, and Spider-Man will count, a lot of times people of color don't have big roles. If you see black people in mainstream movies, oftentimes they're, something like the black best friend. And I think Marvel is trying to push and be a little more progressive just by including more diversity in their casting. And I don't see a problem with that. And, if you're an old-time fan and you're just like, man, I just want my white Mary Jane. I just want things to stay the same. What I say to you is that, man, the world is changing. And when a lot of these characters were created in the 40s, 50s, and 60s in comics, they were mostly all written by white guys. And the people who were reading them were mostly white men. The thing you have to realize is that as media grows and changes and expands and becomes more mainstream, people from different groups also want to be involved and represented in that medium. So that includes people in the LGBT community, minorities, and women, obviously. So I just think that, if you're a fan of comics or a fan of these stories in general, you have to be okay with just these small changes as media begins to represent our world even more. And a lot of this racism and just straight hate is just so wrong. And I think that people who are prominent in the geek community really, have a duty to speak out against it. My next example is a lot more serious. So, for those of you who didn't know, there was a Ghostbusters remake that came out about a month ago in this summer. And the big thing about this movie is that, unlike the original Ghostbusters, the team was all women. And one of the actresses, Leslie Jones, who's black, has received a ton of harassment from people for pretty much being in this movie. And I'm not going to say that no one else involved in the project hasn't also received some form of harassment, but recently, not only has Leslie Jones been dealing with harassment on Twitter, but people have hacked into her website, putting things like pictures of Harambe the gorilla, putting up her passport and her financial information, and even her private nude photos were leaked on her website as well. And, my question is, I don't understand why people want to do this. If you don't like a movie for whatever reason, if you're just someone, you just don't want women in your movie, like, dude, whatever. If you don't like a movie, don't pay for it. Don't support it. But don't go around and harass people who are honestly just trying to make a living, okay? It's just wrong. And I don't understand that if you have hacking skills to just be able to get into all these different websites, why don't you work for a company and, make some awesome money? Why don't you use your hacking skills for good? Why do you have to use them for, quote unquote evil? I just don't understand. I feel like there are just so many people in the nerd and geek community that are just hateful, whether they be racist, sexist, whatever, and they just don't like change at all. And they're just like, hey, I was the first one to be a fan of this. I was the first one to enjoy this. I own this franchise. I don't want anyone else coming in here and changing it and doing anything different. And that to me is just very upsetting, because I'm an African American. I like when people like me are represented in media, and I want other people who are interested in media as well to be represented and feel accepted. And a lot of this hate and just this negativity brewing just upsets me. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the internet, people can hide their faces. I don't know if it's because, we've got certain individuals running for president who are using hate as a platform, and people are just hopping on the bandwagon of like, yeah, let's be bigots. It just upsets me, and I really just wish it would change. Because, the nerd community, it should be a positive and uplifting place. A lot of people who are geeks and nerds were bullied in elementary, middle, and maybe even high school. I mean, I definitely was. So, I don't understand why, if you were someone that was bullied, why you'd want to go out and be a bully yourself. Instead of debating stupid things like, oh, do women really play video games? Or do black people really care about superhero movies? We should be debating things like, who won the fight, Superman or Goku? Or what's better, One Piece or Naruto? Or what's better, Star Trek or Star Wars? What actor was the best Batman out of all of them? We should be debating these silly things in our community, and it should all come from the love and enjoyment we have for these franchises. So this has kind of gone on into a ramble now. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, we got to stop the hate in the geek and nerd community. We need to be more accepting of different groups of people who just want to be a part of our community and enjoy these different franchises and these different media with us. Let's end the hate and try to enjoy things that make us happy. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Check out my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with you next week with another video. Until then, I'll see you later. Peace.